In a world built to fragment your attention, the quiet erosion of focus feels almost natural. Every notification, every scroll, every unending stream of updates chips away at your center. You start to sense that you're reacting, not deciding, drifting through life's current instead of steering it. That restlessness isn't personal weakness, it's the signature anxiety of our age. We live surrounded by more information than any generation before us, yet meaning itself feels scarce. We're promised freedom through endless choice, but abundance without direction becomes a new form of captivity. Still, hidden within that discomfort lies an opportunity, a whisper calling you back to consciousness, to your own agency, to a strength untouched by circumstance. What if your unease isn't a flaw, but a signal? What if the ache for purpose is not a wound to close, but a doorway to deeper clarity? That question is where the existentialists began. Thinkers like Simone de Beauvoir and Jean-Paul Sartre faced a broken century, war, chaos, and collapsing certainties, and from that wreckage built a philosophy of radical empowerment. De Beauvoir taught that peace doesn't come from escaping life's noise, but from mastering our response to it. She left us a path to unbreakable inner strength, one that begins with a frightening but liberating truth. You are free, and no one else can live your life for you. Before we explore her secrets, pause for a breath. Feel the weight of choice already present in this moment. The decision to listen, to reflect, to move closer to authenticity. If these ideas resonate, consider subscribing. It's not about numbers. It's about building a community of people who choose intention over autopilot, depth over distraction. Because growth, like philosophy, is best done together. Radical freedom. The first secret of inner strength is the foundation of existentialism itself. Radical freedom. De Beauvoir and Sartre described it through a deceptively simple idea. Existence precedes essence. Unlike a crafted object whose purpose is fixed before it's made, you were born without a script. There is no pre-written role or cosmic design determining who you must be. You arrive, and only afterward do you define yourself through your actions, your values, your choices. Every day, in small and vast ways, you write your essence into being. Yet the modern world conspires to make us forget this. Culture, advertising, and expectation hand us ready-made identities. Worker, consumer, follower, and call it safety. De Beauvoir warned that this surrender is a form of self-deception she called bad faith. Bad faith is that quiet inner voice saying, "I have no choice. It's just who I am. I can't change now." It's the illusion that your constraints define you. Responsibilities are real, she named them our facticity, but exaggerating them to deny choice turns freedom into fear. The employee who insists they can't leave a hollow job, the partner who stays only from inertia, the artist who hides behind perfectionism, all live as objects of circumstance rather than subjects of decision. To break free, language itself must change. Replace "I have to" with "I choose to." "I can't" with "I'm choosing not to." These subtle shifts restore agency. Freedom is not comfort, it's weight. Sartre said we are condemned to be free, responsible for every line of our story. That burden terrifies many, yet within it lies the source of unbreakable strength, the power to respond to life as an author, not a victim. When you reclaim your authorship, even struggle becomes creation. The second secret expands freedom beyond the self. Your liberation is incomplete without the freedom of others. Sartre once wrote, "Hell is other people, fearing their gaze could trap us." De Beauvoir looked deeper and saw the opposite, salvation through shared autonomy. She argued that to will oneself free and to will others free are one and the same act. When you treat someone as an object, a tool, obstacle, or mirror, you shrink the very concept of freedom. To live authentically, you must recognize every person as a fellow creator of meaning, not a backdrop to your story. Modern life tempts us to objectify. Social media turns people into curated fragments, avatars, numbers, trophies. Comparison reduces infinite complexity into shallow metrics. But existential freedom demands empathy. Another's success doesn't negate yours, it validates the creative power of human will. Their project, their joy, is proof that meaning can be made. When you celebrate it, you affirm your own possibility. De Beauvoir believed that any world denying someone's agency corrodes everyone's strength. To stay silent before oppression or humiliation is to consent to a universe of chains. Inner strength, then, is never isolation behind emotional walls. It's courage amid connection, the choice to engage openly with other free beings. Think of leaders who empower rather than control, friends who inspire rather than compare. Each act of mutual respect becomes resistance against the culture of envy and dominance. When you will the freedom of others, you multiply your own. The chains you refuse to place on them are the same ones you refuse to wear. The third secret answers the haunting question freedom leaves behind. If there's no pre-written purpose, what gives life meaning? De Beauvoir's reply is elegant. Projects. We create meaning through the commitments we choose. A project isn't defined by its scale, but by your engagement with it. Writing a poem, raising a child, rebuilding a garden, all become acts of self-creation when pursued consciously. The serious man, as she called him, worships goals and loses himself in outcomes. Titles, money, approval. But meaning doesn't dwell in results. It's born in the act of striving. The joy is not at the summit, but in the climb. Meaning grows through commitment. When you tie your sense of worth to the act of doing, not the applause that follows, you become resilient. Success or failure can't take away the significance already built into each chosen effort. De Beauvoir reminded us that we create ourselves by transcending what we are in this moment toward what we aim to become. That movement toward is life itself. The courage to choose, fail, and begin again is the essence of authentic living. Every sunrise offers a blank page. Your pen is waiting. Projects demand devotion without guarantees. You may write a book no one reads, or start a venture that collapses. But even in collapse, meaning endures because it was created through action freely chosen. De Beauvoir never promised safety. She promised significance. When you act in alignment with your chosen values, the process itself becomes sacred. So measure life not in trophies collected, but in moments of sincere engagement. The truest loss is not failure, it's never daring to begin. Pause and consider what project currently calls you. Maybe it's building something, healing something, learning something. Ask yourself, am I acting out of expectation or creation? That question alone can reset the course of a life. If this reflection helps you reclaim purpose, share it with someone who needs to remember their freedom too. That's how this community grows, choice by choice, story by story. Integration, living existentially in a modern world. Now comes the work of integration, bringing existential wisdom into the noise of everyday life. Technology has expanded our reach, but blurred our boundaries. The challenge isn't to escape it, but to engage it consciously. Radical freedom in the digital age means deciding how you use attention, not surrendering it. Every scroll is a micro-choice. Am I consuming or creating, reacting or responding? When you treat each decision as a declaration of who you are, the ordinary becomes sacred. You are sculpting your essence with every tap. Existential strength also transforms relationships. To live authentically is to meet others as equals in freedom, not as mirrors for validation or vessels for control. In conversation, listen without rehearsing your reply. In conflict, remember that disagreement doesn't erase dignity. Love, in de Beauvoir's sense, is not possession, but the joyful recognition of another's liberty. The courage to let someone be fully themselves is a test of your own inner stability. In times of uncertainty, existential living asks you to replace prediction with presence. You cannot control outcomes, but you can choose engagement. When anxiety rises, ground yourself in sensory reality, the weight of breath, the texture of this moment. Freedom operates only in the present tense. The future will come, the past is fixed. Strength blooms in the now, where choice lives. And when the world feels overwhelming, remember, simplicity is a form of rebellion. Choose fewer inputs, deeper focus, slower days. Meaning is not found in acceleration, but in attention. De Beauvoir believed that clarity is ethical. When you live deliberately, you respect existence itself. The discipline to pause before reacting, to think before posting, to rest before burning out. These are modern acts of existential courage. Let's gather the threads. Freedom begins when you own your authorship. Strength deepens when you honor the freedom of others. Purpose emerges through chosen projects, and resilience is sustained through conscious living in an unconscious world. Existentialism isn't abstract philosophy. It's a daily practice of awareness. Each morning you wake is a rehearsal of creation, an invitation to write yourself anew. So, when life's noise swells and meaning feels distant, return to this compass. You are free. No algorithm, expectation, or memory can take that from you. The anxieties you feel are proof of your humanity calling itself into being. Within them lies the spark of transformation. To live authentically is to accept uncertainty, to act without guarantees, to keep creating even when no one is watching. That is unbreakable inner strength, the still flame that endures every storm. What project are you choosing to pour your freedom into? Reflect on it, write it, live it. Share your journey in the comments. I read every one. Your stories remind others that meaning is made, not given. If this exploration resonated with you, subscribe and share it with someone who might need this reminder today. Thank you for being part of the Limitless Mindset community, and for choosing, even briefly, to stand still, breathe, and remember that your life is your greatest creation.